Do you remember when we first met? Well, I don't, but I remember how wet you get. But I won't disrespect you by dwelling on the physical aspect. Don't roll your eyes, cause we better than that shit. I'm talking about long life, being your boy's wife. A couple youngins running in the backyard. And my lord, you're still looking great, honey. And my God, you still can shake what make money. It's so vivid, can you picture it? Yeah, well tell me, do you think this ring fits? Word, your love is like the ultimate herb. You got me foot to the ass and the rest of the curb. It's like nothing to do, only for you I kneel and forget the brick. Love is the house we're building, the picket fence with the swing on the tree, with the words carved in it saying love is we.
There you are, close enough to touch but still too far, because you're not mine yet. Stimulated by the conversation, mere presence. Other women ask what relation, none of the essence. Oh, who's that? She's a C, but you come first, like the A before the B. When you're gone, I wilt like a willow. Lie there and smell the scent you left on my pillow. A strong mind with the body to match. I won't bite if you promise not to scratch. You keep it real, just like the truth. Closer than twins, standing in the phone booth. Inspirational, treasured like a gift. What's success without someone to share it with? I used to be a dog, now a cool cat chasing cheese. And I blame Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise.
People everywhere wants to know her name. Her body is the essence and her claim to fame. She's got game, it ain't the same. She's got plenty, packing more good times that you might call a penny. Getting caught up with the thoughts of flying overseas, making all of the cheese, spending time with Eloise. I picture hitting from the back like the snare from the track. I got the knack to be the Mac lips I wanna smack. Candle wax down the spine all of the time. Prophylactic on my tool, let me take you to school. Lesson 1, you don't have to run. And lesson 2, listen to my crew. Passion increases with exchange of saliva. Keep it Fahrenheit and call me Muffdava. That be me, the K to the I-N-G. My mode is excellent and my dream is Eloise.
A soft whisper. She asked me, do I have the guts to kiss her? But as I sit and wonder, is she real? I picture. So what comes after? Put on Anita's rapture. Her feelings I must capture. Her soft lips. I take them quick and put them in my pocket. Cause they're out of this world like Space Lee and his sprockets. Somebody pitch me quick, I think I'm dreaming. Damn, she got me fiending. Her skin is so soft. It reminds me of the smoothest piece of silk. She's so sweet, her breath smells like carnation milk.
So sweet. Carnation milk. Of all things, I'm your lady. Sweet baby. Hey, what up, boo? Words out, I'm the diva that you speak about. I hear you smitten about my well-written repertoire. You's a superstar, but it's you that I shine for. We go together like jeans, t-shirts, and sneakers. Player haters try to come between us, but never that. E is simply all of that. Rewind that. E is simply all of that. Hoes be jealous, so they fellas wanna frolic. Gems I spit can't be bought, sold, or boarded. You look retarded, trying to go against the gift. Love is shared, the love is multiplied. Put your freaks aside, forget about your weak pride. Run away with me and let's do it on the wild side. Like that.
Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise, you're on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise. Eloise, I wanna know, am I the bro, to get to know ya? Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise, I wanna know, am I the bro, to get to know ya? Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise. Simply E with the MSB, the magical soul.
Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Oh, it stopped this time. Every time I play it, it just keep going. I got it right this time. Man, what's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Oh my. We in the building again. Yet another PV versus everybody. I'm your host, Sed Brass, and welcome to today's show, Productive People. We in the building. It's exciting times, always exciting times. My apologies off the rip for the tardiness. My goodness, was it Murphy's Law? Is that Murphy's Law? If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Computer froze, shut down, went to the backup computer, loaded everything on the backup computer, was getting ready to hit the live button, and none of the videos would come up that I had for the show. So I had to go back, reboot. Ah, man, technical difficulties. But we here. Man, that button is becoming infamous. That's the infamous button now. I've been on a few shows, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to a lot of the other podcasts that I've been visiting going on. And I just had the best of time doing what I do on here and going and playing away games. And when I hit that button on the outtake, Mr. Rocky was like, we got to get him out of here. We can have your talking points. We can have your intellect. We can have all your positions. But what we can't have is some PV chants going on up in here. And when I dropped that button, because the soundboard goes everywhere the mic goes. So here's a clue and a hint. Every time you see me on this mic, I'm going to have the soundboard and I'm going to have the hot cues queuing. And man, when I tell you he cut me off in the middle of playing PV, you know, when he said, you got any last words? My last words is always going to be, man, and he just was so annoyed. And I got the biggest tickle out of that. And all that let me know is reassured me that we're on the right track. We on the right track. I'm telling you, the amount of noise that PV is making in this digital spaces, it's amazing to watch. The amount of graphics that everybody is doing. I mean, AI graphics couldn't came out with a better time. If there's any statistic, boom, PV fandom is on it. If there's a new announcement, boom, PV fandom is on it. We're not waiting for one of these news outlets to pick up our story. We're going to create a story and a graphic as if it's from a major outlet. And I'm excited to see that. I'm just one small blip in the whole, like I always refer to us as Voltron. It's when all of the Panther cats come together to form Voltron, it's unstoppable. You got the red cat, the blue cat, the yellow cat. You know, I'm telling my age, that might be for a lot of y'all youngsters' time. But, you know, Voltron, that came on right before G.I. Joe. And when I tell you Voltron, when the lions would come together, man, you talking about something amazing. And I think that's what we have brewing over here at PV Fandom. We got something amazing. So shout out to everybody that's out there. Shout out to PV12. Shout out to Section 107. Shout out to G Boom. Shout out to all the Panther fans, all of the Panther alumni. Shout out to the coaches. I know y'all out there listening. Shout out to the PV coaches. Shout out to Coach T Jack. Shout out to AD Jack. Shout out to the President LeGrand, who's made all of this happen. The quiet riot. I always call them the big three. We got a big three. And I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for PV fandom, and I'm excited for all things that I preview. And guess what? It's just May. It's just May, and we out here causing crazy pandemonium. Crazy pandemonium. And we haven't even got near summer camp yet. We hadn't got near fall camp yet. This thing is cracking 24/7. I said that on one of the other podcasts the other day. It's so amazing to see now the PV, or not necessarily PV, but the SWAC football news cycle is 24/7, 365. No longer is it after the Celebration Bowl, you go into hibernation and then you wake back up around SWAC Media Day. Everybody dusts off the mic and they try to remember whatever positionality they had from last year. And they come into Birmingham with their dusty mics. And we ask the same questions about, well, what do you think about NIL? And, oh, what do you think you're going to win this year? And name me 5 things, your favorite color. And like, it's the same thing. But this year, everybody feels it. Everybody feels the PV champions, the presence that we bring, the way that we resonate in all spaces. It's just crazy out here. And I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'm happy that you allow me to be a part of it, because there could be a lot of places I could be and a lot of things I could be doing, but I enjoy talking about PV. Anybody that knows me offline, we will talk for hours when it comes to PV. I'm glad I finally got a microphone and a pulpit. Most of all, thank you, Lionel, for offering me your home, your platform, PV versus everybody. Y'all like, subscribe, get the alerts. I see a lot of y'all got the alerts. As soon as I hit the live, everybody was in here. Y'all beat me in here. But pass it along. Pass it to a friend. A lot of PV people are walking around not really knowing what's going on. They see us crazy. They see us on social media like, oh, those lunatics over there. But really not knowing that they're needed in the movement, not knowing that they have a place also in this. So once again, such a long intro, but I'm excited and I wanted to say thank you and welcome to everybody. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Obviously, everyone's welcome. This is a collaborative show. I'm just your host, but this is all things PV here. All things PV. So I dropped the link in there. What do we got? What we got first on the news cycle today? Because there's a lot, not really a super lot, but we got to get some things in order. First of all, I've been seeing this floating around. Share your photos, y'all. You know, obviously, we haven't been really going full throttle with the 150-year anniversary, but it's important. They have a lot of different things going on. I think last week I shared that we're doing a Martha's Vineyard expose and art installation, as well as a featured film. But we're also asking everyone to participate and share all your old photos. Go dig up that old iPhone you got in the box somewhere. Go on your Facebook page and look at one of them galleries from 2017, 18, 19. We're celebrating the 150th anniversary, and we're asking everybody to celebrate through a digital catalog. So here's the flyer for it. They're asking that everyone help to join along and add on their information. If you have memories, if you have classmates, you have roommates, anything you want to turn in that you have a photo, shoot it out. Any of your emails, your photos, your video, it's be brave, B-E, brave at braveheart-ent.com. DM them, send them a message, shoot them whatever you got that's out there. It's PV 150th anniversary. N.O. Joe, what's up? What we got, brother?
What going on, about man? I know you don't rock with me, but I need who that artist is, man. I'm 50. That's my that's my vibe right there, baby.
Hey, well, first of all, that is PV's greatest artist group called Magical Soul Brothers. It comprised of PV alumni from the 90s, from the late 90s era. I think
when music was good, when good music was made.
The whole album is ahead of your time. I'm gonna tell you, the whole album.
I ain't ahead of my time. That's before my. I'm 50, right, man. That's my music, right? That's my type of music.
Right on.
Where can I find them, man? Where can I find them? Are they online?
Well, you can hit up the King MC. He's on Instagram. He's often on this platform. He might even pop in on here today. But he's
so King I can't stream that MC. Music nowhere.
Nope, it's not streaming.
Oh man,
and to be honest with you, he'll send you the whole album in a link, and you'll have a digital file. And to be honest with you, that's one of the major reasons why I play it, because it doesn't get flagged. That's why I'm able to play it for so long, because it's not on any other streams to get flagged. To be honest with you, once they go through all the licensing, I love it too. I got more. I'm actually gonna switch them up. I said I'm gonna switch up some. They got all their songs are kind of like in that hip hop far side, Southern,
Yeah.
a little bit of that outcast-ish kind of era. I love it. Magical
Yeah, my
Soul
vibe, my
Brothers,
top
keep it
five.
along.
All right, Bummer, I ain't gonna hold you up. I gotta lay it down. I've been riding all day.
All
I'll
right,
catch
no
you later,
doubt.
Bummer. All right.
Man,
All right.
thanks for coming on. Brother came on and the wife beater was like, yo, what's up? Who made that song? I need that song right now. I can't stream it. Man, you gotta love our people. You gotta love our people. So as I said, send in your photos. Everybody send in your photos. I appreciate N.O. Joe for coming on. That's what the link is for. He took advantage of it right away. Now, I don't know why he put his camera on. I don't know, was he in the car or in the bathroom? He had the white beater on. I wasn't gonna ask. But yeah, share your photos. As I was saying, 150th anniversary. I'm assuming a lot of things gonna be coming down the pipeline. I think that's gonna be amazing, having a photo and video installation for us to be able to share our memories across the timeline. I think maybe some of y'all I got photos that I've got to scan. I'm telling my age with that one. I literally have hard copy photos from Kappa Beach Party where I was literally walking around with a disposable camera taking photos. This is like pre iPhone era, obviously. This is pre smartphone era. I think I had a StarTAC. Far side, Pharrell was out at the time and he had doot, 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 doot. I had a little, man, you couldn't tell me nothing with my little pager, my two-way pager. What else we got? Football showcase, y'all. I know people been seeing that as well. People been seeing a football showcase, but we got to keep it going for all of the recruits out there, because that's a major part of what we do. We don't really talk about it much, but recruiting is a very vital part of what we do. Y'all see the schools up there. Y'all see the partnerships and the relationships. I can't get enough of talking about PV in the multiple faceted ways in which we kind of approach excellence. It's not just about X's and O's is on the field. It's about engagement. It's about marketing. It's about making a statement. It's about using your platform and voice to the highest potential that you possibly can. And this is just one of the ways, reaching out, creating camps and creating opportunities and relationships with other coaches and other programs, and obviously giving exposure to young athletes out there. So they're officially reached the point where the camp is almost full. That's what I got word. So don't wait until the last minute. Don't wait till the last minute. Secure your final spot now before registration closes. This is your opportunity to compete, get coached, and get seen by what? FBS, FCS, D2, D3, NIA, all levels will be out here, be supporting, be in relationships with PV. I talk a lot of noise, but we handle business and we back it up. We play hard, but we work hard too. And I think this is an opportunity for, if you are meant for PV, that's cool. If you're not, there are other schools out there and other opportunities across the board at all levels. And I think that's what's cool. This is not just about a HBCU. It's not even necessarily just about FCS. It's about FBS, D2, D3, and NIA. I think that's cool. I think they have a link out there, pvpanthersfootballcamps.com. Y'all go check it out. If y'all got some recruits or kids, pvpanthersfootballcamps.com. I know we going early into the football lineup because, I was a little tardy, so I'm going right into the mix of it, right? Speaking of football, we have, hold on, that's not the right. Oh, sorry. Speaking of football, one of our own, Jalen Morton. For those who've been close to the PV world, we've been paying attention to what Jalen Morton has been doing the past, 2 weeks. He's been named the player of the week on his first start. This PV tree that's building for alumni bases, coaches, and there's a graphic out there. I was going to put it on the show today, but I didn't, I chose otherwise. There's a coaching tree that's blooming that comes from PV, but there's a player tree. We love KJ Black, right? But that's not our only quarterback. Jalen Morton also PV alumnus. I remember those Jalen Morton years, right? Dewanye Tucker, Jalen Morton. It was some ballers out there, straight ballers. That was the year, man. Oh, so close, but yet so far away. We should have beat Sam Houston that year. We was giving them the business. And to be honest with you, one of the reasons why I believe, Stephen of Austin and these teams have tucked their tails and like, oh no, we're not going to play PV again because they got our number. Same thing. Rice. We was giving Rice the business. Jalen Morton was doing his thing. If you know, you know. That was one of our better teams that a lot of people, took for granted. Of course, that was one of the problems, right? That was that era. I'm trying to be a little bit careful. I've been having a lot of conversations offline. So I'm trying to be a little bit careful, not as reckless, with my talking points. But that you couldn't tell me, with the proper tutelage and the proper coaching, that team was supposed to go way further than it actually achieved. Shout out to Isaiah. Rice would have been the first SWAC FBS since 1960. You're right. You're right. And I go back and watch that game, by the way. That game is on YouTube. So it doesn't have to live like an urban legend. You can go watch that game. And it'll hurt your heart watching us ball out. What's the brother name from Oregon? I hate that I keep forgetting his name. He was showing out that game. The transfer from Oregon, the receiver we had that year, they could not stop him. They could not stop him. I know Isaiah know his name. That between him, Dewanye Tucker, Tristan Wallace. Thank you. Tristan Wallace, they could not stop Tristan Wallace that year. They could not stop Dewanye Tucker, and they could not stop Jalen Morton. And we had other weapons too, but those were the three-headed monster that was really holding it down that year. So shout out to Player of the Week. I got off and digressed somewhat, but shout out to Jalen Morton, PV alum doing his thing. First start and getting Player of the Week. I expect to see big things from him. I had a video with him too. He actually see the ball. Let me find that. Let me find that video. Pretty cool. I'm so proud of this brother.
Offensive Player of the Week for last week. Go to 2 ball.
First and foremost, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior, you know what I'm saying? But secondly, thank y'all. As an organization, as coaches, as a team, I couldn't have done without y'all. Having my back, I have y'all's back, and we just playing together as one, man. And, this is okay for right now, but I'd rather have a win on Sunday. Yeah. I'm dead ass right now. Like I said, we're going to be spoilers to the party, and we're going to take over the trap. And that's what that is, man. Dead ass. So, let's end the season right. Let's start a win streak, and let's go spoil the party. Appreciate y'all.
Shout out to Jalen Morton, man. Just hearing him talk and how he actually is just holding himself as a leader amongst men. I'm like, yo, that is PV product right there all day, every day. Shout out to Jay. We plan to see way more from him to come and more from other PV Panthers that's out there doing that thing. So I just wanted to highlight him. I know I showed him last week, but as we get more footage and more videos and more accolades, I couldn't be more proud enough. If nobody else is going to toot your horn, we going to toot our own horn. And speaking of tooting our own horn, we kicked up a little dust, a few weeks back when it came to about viewership. Now, it's the silliest things that we seem to argue about. And I already know, I don't even want to tackle this conversation. I'm going to leave this for a lot of my compadres on social media. But, it was a lot of people yapping about that HBCU Go schedule that came out. There was a lot of yappers out there. Oh, I bet PV don't get no coverage. I bet, how do you win the SWAC championship and then turn around the following season and don't get no kind of coverage. The stuff that people be saying, the ways in which, let me keep that big, the ways that they go about trying to make us seem small, it's hilarious. Hilarious. We start out, ESPN dropped it this week, right? People had a lot to say. They had a lot to say. And I know the clips is clapping out there. Oh, I bet, we can be the darlings of ESPN, and then FAMU, y'all could be the darlings of HBCU Go, and then PV can, they can do SWAC TV. We coming out the gate hard. What's that? What was that? 8-ball and MJG? We coming out hard. Oh, they lucky this is a new YouTube where you can't like play clips and music clips. I would have so many old school clips. I don't know why they just kind of live rent free in my head. But that 8-ball and MJG, we coming out hard. Straight hard. Tarleton State, ESPN 2. Why wouldn't it be? Number 1 rate FCS school. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't PV be on that? Back to back, we know what Labor Day Classic is. We talking about week 0. We talking about week 0 coming out hard. Oh. They can't flag me for singing it. Can they, Lionel? I don't think so. Man, come on, man. Let's pull it up. Let's get into the business, right? Now, I'll be remiss to say this, right? They're just bringing up what HBCU head lineups are, right? They're not even saying what actual HBCU schools are playing out of their conference and what ESPN might be covering on those. So, I know a lot of people like, hey, don't say nothing said. Shh, let the full schedule come out. But this just telling you about the HBCU head lineup against each other, right? So yeah, you see what we got. My old eyes, I can't see these little small little helmets too well, because the only thing I really see is PV right there, right? That's all we really care about is PV. I'm gonna pull it up on my side though. I'm gonna be fair. And pull it up, right? There we go. Well, first week, let's go. 5/27/01. What are we looking at? Okay, so we're looking at Southern and Alabama State on ESPNU. We're looking at Alabama A&M and what is that, Howard? On August 29th, right? Then we got TSU and PV, the Labor Day Classic. And then we got South Carolina State and FAMU, September 6th. So pretty full 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks. This is week 1 and week 2. Was this the Orange Blossom Classic? And we got the Labor Day Classic SWAC MEAC Challenge. That's cool. I don't see Jay Stank on here nowhere. I know they come up later. I don't see them nowhere. I think they come up. They TBD is what I heard, right? That's the week 2. So sure, we got Grambling PV, State Fair Classic. You already know that's one. That's one for the books. Now I will say the Boombox with Southern and JSU, that's a good one to actually take. I would want to see that one. I'm not gonna hate. Now October 7th. FAMU and JSU, I'm really not that enthused to see that. A very lackluster FAMU squad. But I'm curious, did anybody get, what's the video? Maybe I missed it somewhere. Maybe because, I was kind of quick putting a lot of my clips together. Did any of the D2 schools that JSU play, are those being televised? Let me know. Is the Edward Waters game, is ESPN picking that up? Maybe I missed it in the release. Are they picking up Morris Brown? Not Morris Brown. Mary Had a Little Lamb. Did they pick those up? I'm just trying to figure out, are they picking up the D2 schools? We do have Alabama State and Alabama A&M for the Magic City. That's gonna be a good one. That's a good one to watch. That's on Halloween. This year, Halloween fell on a weekend. Come on, see what I'm talking about? How that I wasn't even thinking about that. I didn't even have that written down. This stuff just like old head just come to me. November 14th, JSU against Alabama State. That'll be a good game. That'll be a good game. I actually think that'll be a revenge game. I don't know. I don't know. After playing D2 schools, JSU gonna go in there feeling like they feeling themselves. But having to play a real school, well, they would have had a tune up, obviously, with Southern and FAMU. But I'm not really that high. I'm not really that high on JSU going into the next season, but we are early. We are early for predictions, so I'll be fair with that one. Then we got the next week rounding out. Let me pull that one up too. We got the next week rounding out. The last one, November 21st, JSU, Alcorn. That's going to be a good one. PV, Alabama State. November 21st going to be a good. We're going to be really knowing what's going to happen right here, November 21st. This weekend is probably the weekend you want to circle your calendars to understand what's going to happen in the SWAC championship. It might come up till, depending on what Alabama State does, if they're already out of it by that time of the year, then it won't mean much. But if they need that win and they're going into this one game up on Jackson State or tied with Jackson State, November 21st is going to be one of those for the books. We won't know what's really going to happen with the SWAC championship, I believe, at least on one side of the equation, especially from, the east side of things. The West might be already wrapped. It might be Reynolds wrapped. It might be already just wrapped up right here. By the time we get to play Alabama State, it'll probably be a moot point. But Alabama State will have needed to probably beat us to maintain their hold. But between when they play each other, Jackson State and Alabama State, that's going to tell the difference. And then obviously FAMU and Bethune, that normally is a good game. That won't mean anything. That's like the Buster Bowl. This will be like Labor Day Classic. That's what this game will be. Bragging rights, internal state rights, but really won't mean nothing. We already know FAMU's not going to be paying in post play, right? I do think, maybe Bethune might creep a few people here and there, but this game on November 21st won't mean nothing. Everybody will be watching Prairie View and Alabama State and Jackson State and Alcorn. It is what it is. All hands on deck. That's a great segue, right? That's a great segue. Dude, I don't have a graphic for that, but I did see Lionel and everybody put that out. It is all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck for the first week. For the first week against Tarleton State, I know we going for streaming rights and all of that stuff. What did they? I think they said it was Purple Loud or something. Let me go find that. I'm coming out hard. Now that song is stuck in my head. Oh. That's it right there, man. Week 0, not even the first week. Week 0, we got to come out hard. There it is. I'm getting better with my skills at least. It's the Purple Out. Stephenville, Texas, Memorial Stadium, August 29th, Saturday, 8 p.m. on ESPN2. Purple Out. Purple Out, y'all. We gotta come with it. Let me. Can I make that? Is it a way to make that bigger? Ooh. There we go. That's what Purple out, y'all. We got to ride this out till the wheels fall off. Now, me personally, I might have did a gold game because Tarleton State colors is purple too. So I might would have wanted to do an identifier that makes us stand out different from them. But that's me being petty. But I'm cool with the purple out too. I'm cool with the purple out too. All hands on deck. Thank you for whoever said that, right? All hands on deck. We need everybody there. People were talking about the buses. We got to get the buses together. Get on the bus. Get on the bus. This ain't the Million Man March, but we need 1 million fans. It's the Million Fan March. We got to come in there. I plan on personally tailgating. I plan on personally being there early, ready, set up to go in the parking lot, creating a bunch of noise. Because this right here is the beginning of everything when it comes to next season. This is a coming out party. Based on what I know, it's a lot of things within the PV fan world we know that everybody don't know. We've just been holding things close to our chest. But we haven't been doing eyeball emojis though. We still been working. We still been talking. We still been educating. Yeah, that's right. I like that too. Purple rain, purple rain. That's what it is. It's a purple rain. And we got to come for sure. Cigars, tequila, shot. Dwayne, bring the shot board. Where that video at from the shot board when we do the shot board out at the tailgate? Bring the shot board. It's going to be, I'm putting focus and emphasis on this because I really think it's important to build up the hype for this game. We got to come and support the team. This is almost to the levels of when we came to Jackson. We shocked the world on the field, but we also shocked the world in the stadiums as well. They don't really want to tell you that, but if you go back and watch the video, the 12 fans, as they call us, was taking over. We took over that game. We were a force and an element that really started the game off in the momentum that really shook the stadium. If anybody was there, they will attest to this. This isn't me just being biased. This is me telling you what I know. This is why I keep urging fans so much why we have to be out and why we have to support the team. Tarleton State, this is going to be a big game. This is going to be one to remember. This is going to be one for the books. What it say ESPN up there? Now, how did the ESPN get up there? Because I thought we weren't going to be on ESPN. I thought we would just like SWAC TV in it or something, right? That's what I told. That's what I was told. That's what I was told. Let's get the full schedule. Let's get because we did have one out there. I don't know how legitimate this is, but it's so much news moving fast. I'm just grabbing stuff. Let me stop that one. Let me add this one in here. There's so much stuff moving so fast. There we go. Oh, that's not it. There it is. Here it is. Bam. There it is. That's what we're talking about right there. That's the full PV schedule. Oh, no. It's vertical, so that's as big as I can make it. That's the full PV schedule as far as broadcast-wise. Shout out to the graphics. I don't know if this was Lionel. I did grab this off of, I grabbed this off PV Nation, PV Fan Nation. So shout out to y'all for putting this graphic together so fast. Tarleton State, like I said, ESPN2. Texas Southern, as we already showed, ESPN2. Baylor, ESPN Plus. I believe it is also on Baylor's conference network. SWAC TV, Stephen F. Austin. Grambling, ESPN Plus. SWAC TV, Southern. Our one HBCU game that people seem to think, was some type of telltale sign against Alcorn. East Texas A&M, ESPN Plus. Alabama A&M, that's a SWAC TV game. And then Alabama State, which I told you was going to be huge, is another ESPN Plus game. This going to be crazy. This is going to be crazy. I mean, this is essentially talking points, but we need to be in the building. Let me just say that straight up to the PV fan world. Let me get it. Let me get this right. Right? To the PV fan world, we need y'all out. For real. Next season is no excuses. Now I know everybody's hype and everybody's excited and all of the things, but we got to be in the building for this one. It's almost like we're an element of the team. We got to suit up. I'm gonna be honest with you. We got to suit up for this one. Or like No Limit Soldier, we got to boot up. Either way, it's time. It's time for business, right? So I'm glad that shout out to the PV fan world who put a lot of these graphics together so fast. It's amazing now with the speed of the internet, our ability to like pivot and get the word out on what's going on in the world of PV. Nobody is moving like we moving. Nobody. You know, you got a lot of fanatics out there, but they don't really have a lot of action and motion around what they doing. That's right. Panther, pack it out. Yes. Athletic AD, get the word out. Everybody get the word out. Now, as we take a pause on football, we got some b-ball news too. Because in case y'all didn't know, not only are we the SWAC champs in football, we're the SWAC champs in basketball. So we got to keep all things real. We got to keep it always 100 with y'all, right? Because there's motion in the basketball world. Davis Bynum. We got a big man in the building. We got a big man. Hold on, let me find that. Oh. There he is. Davis Bynum. Look, the size. Let me make this bigger. The size on the team is crazy. Crazy. Hold on, let me make it even cleaner. Let me clean that up. Size on the team is crazy. Shout out to David Bynum. What's his stats? What's his numbers? Bynum. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to the stats. I'm going to hold that because I got another part of the segment. I'm going to talk about him. Shout out to him, though. Shout out to him. I got some video of him, too. I think it's on this same link. Is it on here? It's not. Let me pull that up as well. Shout out to Bynum, though. Here we go. Let's get the roster list together, too, because I believe this makes now 11 on the roster, I believe. Hold on, I know where it's at. That makes 11 on the roster, I believe. Let's get some action on him, though, real quick before I get into the full roster. Boom. Okay. Let's check him out. There's no audio on this, so y'all gonna have to hear. This is against U of H, by the way. So this ain't no scrub. Now, one thing you know about Coach Smith, he's going to have two-way players that can shoot and players that can penetrate and players with speed. No matter who and what your style. Big man, that's something we ain't really had a lot is a true big man. Now, notice he's posting, shooting threes and mid-range shots, and he's in the paint. Big man in him. This is going to be a rough team next season. If you thought we were giving the business last season, this has always been Coach Smith's formula. So you don't know what to do. Okay, you think he's going to post? He's going to shoot the three on you. And this is probably one of the taller, one of the taller brothers that's coming in, right? Hold on, I think it's another one of him. Yeah, we got action. We got action. Yeah, you say he's a biggin, but he not moving like one, Mike, dog. He not moving like he's shooting these threes and running the floor and blocking shots. yo. And I did, I think this been like 3-4 weeks in a row. I've showed a new recruit. Every one of them have been like this. This not just one player. Every one of them have been like this. They've all had size. They all had range. They all had two-way game. This is going to be nasty work. Let me get that off. Let me get that off. Showing y'all too much. Even though y'all can go look that up in y'all own time. Look that up on your own time. Let's pull up the roster though. What's the roster looking like? Shout out to Davis Bynum, right? Hold on. The height is actually going to be insane. What do we have? We got Bynum, Alero, Page, Wharton are all 6'9". That's 4 players that's 6'9". Then we got Diallo that's 6'8". And then every guard on the roster except for Harris is 6'5" and up. That's sick. Let me see if I can pull the roster up. That's sick. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna share that with y'all. And I'm gonna break that down again once this page loads up correctly. If it's gonna load up correctly. Since I've been having technical issues. There we go. Here we go. With an addition. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna add that in there. Would you say we just got yeah, it for sure they gotta stay healthy. That's just a part of the game, to be honest with you. It's always health. That's why you gotta build up a full roster. We do that with football all day. We pad and protect ourselves to make sure, So here, with an addition of Davis Bynum, here's the PV updated roster. And shout out to Dorian Waller. Dorian be on it with the stats too in the news. I believe Dorian is the one that has the Substack page with articles on it. Go like, subscribe, and follow his articles and stories. He does a lot of in-depth analysis as well. But that's your lineup right there. That's your lineup. As I said, on this list, Bynum, Alero, Page, and Wharton are all 6'9". That's four of the players on this list are 6'9". Diallo is 6'8". And every guard on the roster, except for Harris and Caesar, are 6'5" and up. You're talking about a lot of length. You're talking about a lot of size, a lot of shooting, and a lot of speed. Shout out to PV basketball. I'm already telling you ahead of time, it's going to be nasty. This is your championship basketball men's team. We do spend a lot of time on football, but I try to be diligent about letting y'all know football is not the only show in town. Basketball has got big things coming too. So let me get back. Let me get back to it. Straighten that up right there. Straighten that up. I would be remiss since we on basketball. Let's give the ladies some love too. They had a rough season last season. They had a rough season. I'm not gonna shy away from that. But we gonna love them up. We gonna love them up also. Because we had two women come on the team with experience. With experience. So it shouldn't be, shout out to Dorian again on this one. This shouldn't be no excuses. Let me make that. Can I make that? Oh, there we go. There we go. Shout out to Kaylee Carr. We just announced the signing of Kaylee Carr. 5'10". That's pretty nice. We don't have any 5-footers anymore. Shout out to Kaylee. 5'10" guard from Mississippi. Spent last year at Sam Houston. Made 25 appearances for the Bearcats last year. Shout out to Kaylee Carr. I couldn't find any video on her, but we got a little size on the women's basketball team. That's a good move. I'm not gonna even kid you. That's a good move. What else we got? I think we got one more too. What school you at? You at Sam Houston now? Okay. Well, maybe you can call in and let us know how was she at Sam Houston. Let me go back to this. We do have another sister as well. I do remember her because I was like, Jordan, you better be able to ball with a name like Jordan. Who was this sister? This also came from Dorian. Heaven Jordan. Her parents must have knew she was gonna be a superstar. Let me see is that. I can add it there. Boom. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Sorry, y'all. I'm doing multiple things trying to get there. We go. Shout out to Heaven Jordan. 5'5" guard with 6.5 points average last year from Trinity Valley Community College last season. Another scorer in the offseason. I believe we signed her first. I'm going to put her up big in bright lights. Shout out to Heaven Jordan. I know we kind of heavy on the announcements in the news, but we got a lot to talk about and a lot to be proud of. It's a new chapter for PV on all levels. Even though the women had a rough year last year, I foresee big things coming for them as well. Oh, okay. I'll share it with you, brother. Copy. No problem. It's in the chat. Links in the chat. All right. Let's start getting into, let's get into a few more home-based news, and we'll start getting into some of our topics. So we're just kind of warming y'all up. We got a facilities update too. I know we talked a lot about the grass, and we talked a lot about, the stadium, but the weight room, we got some things going on in the weight room too. Let me see if I could get that up while I'm pulling that up. What's up, brother? How you
Offensive player
doing?
of the week for last week.
Oh, I put the Jalen Morton on there. Janarius, welcome to the stage. How you doing, Janarius?
Doing good. Yeah, it's Janarius with y'all. I'm doing good.
Oh, Janarius, my apologies, brother.
You good, yeah. You good. But yeah, I saw Kayla Carr. She played at Sam for one season. She was good. Like, she was in rotation, but like she was actually good from time to time and stuff, especially like playing her role. She got a couple buckets. She had a couple double-digit games from time to time. But yeah, she actually would be like a good fit for the team. I want to try to like knock her off. Like, she might be 5'10", might not be, no giant, but yeah, she does good with stuff she does and stuff. And yeah, I remember when I first saw she came to PV, she go to PV. Yeah, I had to go and send her the voice message and tell her, like, you feel me? Although you ain't at San no more, hey, still gonna be in your corner because hey, you going to the school I went to undergrad at, so hey, still gonna have my support.
Yeah, Sam has always been in close relationship with PV. At least when my era when we was there.
Yeah, I know Coach Justice. She was at PV at 1.2, and she coached Sam now.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. There used to be a ongoing Wednesday party at the Armory every Wednesday at Sam.
Oh yeah, I got some friends at the Armory.
Every Wednesday at Sam, and I had one semester where I believe I might have went to every party on one of those Wednesdays at Sam. I had a buddy that had a car, and we had our schedule set where we had classes that ended early on Wednesday, and we didn't have any but late classes on Thursday. And we would drive to Sam religiously every week. We went to Sam so much they thought we went to Sam. We would like that. Man, shout out to my boy Ron Washington. We would go to Sam every week, not only kick it at the Armory, get up and play basketball in the intramural gym that they had there. Then we even joined the intramural hoop squad, and they thought we went to Sam. It was the funniest thing. We had a whole alter ego, a whole another life living at Sam. Man, those college days, man, I need to chronologize my college days, man. So whenever I hear Sam, I go, man, I went to Sam too. I need to get some college credits. I need to at least get some type of degree for the amount of time that I spent up at Sam partying. They don't give you credits for partying no more.
Nah.
Well, Janarius, thank you for coming on, giving us a little bit of feedback. I love, the show being interactive and people being so readily to come up and share their experiences and share a little bit more context to a lot of these stories. I didn't know much about the sister, so when I saw you said she went to Sam and you went there, context context is everything. So are you a PV fan now? Before I let you go, are you a PV fan?
Yeah, I've been a PV fan always. PV until I die, bro.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, we plan to see you, man. Come check me out. I'm always walking around. Yeah. I'm always everywhere, man. Come check us out. Hopefully you can make the Tarleton State game.
Yeah,
it's gonna be one for the record and one for the books. I'm calling it here and now already. I'm calling it.
You saw me at the softball game too, though.
Oh, you was at the softball game?
Yeah, we were sitting on the
Oh my God. I'm sitting here. I didn't realize, bro, I know who you are. My apologies. What's up, bro? We had the buttons and everything.
Yeah. Me, you, and Pollo. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Thanks for calling in, bro. Your voice sounds so different.
Yeah, off the mic. I'll catch you later.
Nah, that's what's up. Thanks for calling in, bro. I'll see you out there in these PV streets. Man, thank y'all for reminding me. That's so crazy. They blame it on my old age. That's what old age do sometimes. Old age makes you forget people. Then it hits you back again. So hold on. Let's start getting into it. I got one more thing, y'all. We're gonna get into summer. We're gonna get hot and heavy in this. We got summer camp, and I want to get that out there as well. Summer camp, because that helps sets this all up. What was that? What was that under? That was under that. I think it's already loaded, to be honest with you. Boom. Boom. There it is. The work begins. Welcome back, players. We have some unfinished business to handle. Therefore, let the work begin. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Zechariah 4:10. Man, summer camp 2026. I can't believe we already talking about summer camp. We got a lot of players reporting to camp. I haven't even touched that. I haven't even touched some of the new players. And be honest with you, I don't want to touch it. I want to stay in a 40-foot ceiling perspective of how we see what's going to happen next year. I'll let the other shows get a little bit more granular about some of our new signings. I don't want to take any of that thunder away. I like to just stay from a fan perspective. I don't have to get deep into that. We'll make the announcements when the announcements are ready and the announcements are out there, and we'll make the proper pivots for that. But I just want to have this graphic to set it up because summer camp has begun, and it's coming. Winter is coming, as they said in Game of Thrones. Winter is coming, and all this talking is gonna come to a head at some point. It's gonna come to a head at some point. But that leads me into, again, I can't play the song because we already know how this YouTube and internet works. But y'all already can hear it in y'all head. Fight the power. Fight the power, that beat. That's the Flavor Flav dance. If y'all don't know that, hold on, let me make that bigger. That's the Flavor Flav dance. Fight the power, that beat. Man, come on, man. Everything, and it's so funny. Those words go with the actual title, and you could swear they had a fist up. You could swear they had a fist up, but the fist not up. Let me put that up, and I just talk in the background. The fist not up, but you can almost just imagine it, right? That's the ones that we do to the heel at the end of the game. That's the real TC 21, Tevin Carter, right? We see Bingham back there. We see Coach. We see the athletic director, and we see Coach's daughter. We changing. We not only changing lives. We're not only just changing football. We're changing the SWAC. We got the SWAC on our back. That's right. I said it, and I don't really care who gets upset at that. We are the anchor of the SWAC. I know that infringes upon a lot of people's emotions, but that goes back to what I always like to famously say. Please don't allow my confidence to trigger your insecurities. We fighting the powers. We're fighting all powers and principalities as we reshape this team for the next season. We are fighting the powers. We fighting the powers that be. Now, on to this topic, the power that we're talking about is the oppressive forces that we see in our political spaces. Gerrymandering, right? And there's been a lot of fuss. There's been a lot of fuss, and there's been a lot of talk about what to do. I'm not surprised that HBCUs got thrown in the grease. I'm not surprised that we became front and center, as for some would say pawns, others, would say utility for the fight to amplify the message as we put back. Politics couldn't stay in a political space. Politics has now seeped into our sports atmosphere. And not only has it seeped into our sports atmosphere, it has even come to our front doorstep as an HBCU. And so I want to say shout out to the coach, for Coach T-Jack, for even stepping up and saying something. Because when we talk about coaches in the SWAC, they mostly remain silent. When it comes to football, they don't really have much to say. So when it comes to political activism and speaking out on behalf of athletes, on behalf of the HBCUs, on behalf of the SWAC, you're not really going to get much. But what you are going to get is eye emojis. I tell you what, you be killing them with them eye emojis, right? And so I think we need more than eye emojis. We need voice. We need resonance. We need power, right? I'm so proud to be a Panther fan because I've been saying this, and Lionel knows this. We finally have a administration. We finally have a staff that reflects the actual embodiment of PV alumni base, right? This kind of passionate way about we see about excellence in all things. And this is just one of those. And I wanted to address this mostly from a PV space because I think a lot of people have clouded social media talking about this. Should actual players do it or shouldn't players do it? Is it too much to ask for players? Is not as much? I post a clip teasing into the show when I was on a show yesterday or 2 days ago. And a brother was on the show from Jackson, Mississippi. Oh, we gotta ask and demand that these players give up something. They need to sacrifice because there's a lot at stake. I should have loaded it up, but I didn't really want to focus so much on that show. It reflects a lot of what I wanted to share in this show, right? And I do think, and it's no disrespect to the ancestors, because I always talk about we stand on the shoulders of the ancestors. So it's no disrespect to the ancestors. But in this climate, we have to have multiple ways in how we actually find solutions. We have to attack the system from multiple fronts. I'm not saying it's, not productive to go out and march. I'm not saying it's not productive to actual protest, but I am saying we have to have a call to action. And I think Coach was spot on. And I'm gonna get into that if I could pull up some of the article with his statements on this. Right, we need some call to actions on this. What's the ROI? Because oftentimes we love to talk about a good protest, and then somebody goes into the room and negotiates on our behalf, and then we're stuck holding the proverbial bag. We're stuck waiting to find out what happened because we haven't made an ask. We haven't made a demand. And I think that's the new iteration of what activism looks like in this generation. We're going to have to make some tangible acts. Yes, we can go out and protest. Yes, we can go out and boycott. But what are we coming to the table to negotiate? Or this is just, smoke. It's smoke that we blow, and then somebody else is creeping through the back door and negotiating a deal. And then say, okay, y'all, it's over, right? We caught the one pastor who did that, right? Hey, y'all, the boycott's over, everybody. It's officially over. Huh? A, who nominated you as the spokesperson? And B, what was the deal that took place for you to come out of nowhere and say the boycott is over? What? But, a lot of that is our own fault because we're not making demands and we're not making requests. And we become so disengaged by the process that we allow others to co-opt our oppression. And that kind of really takes me into, my next piece of this, right? We were talking about, and this goes right in line with the New York Giants quarterback, Jackson Dart. Introduce him, right? Introducing Donald Trump. I didn't want to play the clip because I'm sure they got all kind of, streaming restrictions on that, probably, but I don't want to risk that. You guys seen it. You can look it up in your own time. New York quarterback Jackson Dart, coming off his rookie season, did an intro for Donald Trump. Now, let me be clear. I don't have an issue with him introing him, but what I do have an issue with is us. Said, you're talking about self-accountability. Here's a man that, we invited him to the cookout. And this is why you can't invite everybody to the cookout, by the way, right? Because they haven't done anything for the community. All they've done is shuck and jive. He's done the Dougie and some dances. Even when he introduced the president, what's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Hey, what's up, y'all? We allow these culture vultures to come in and co-opt our identity and our culture, but meanwhile won't even be in our best interest. This is fundamentally my problem with the Jackson Darts of the world, right? And it's our time to really sit back as a community and say, hold up, who's really for us? I'm not saying gatekeeping the picnic or the cookout, but we got to be careful who we allow to the cookout because they will sell us out. And by the way, some of them might look like us. They might look like us. Hold on. That's what made that song so powerful, by the way. Did they not like us? Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up the HBCU sports article with Coach on it because Coach says some very powerful things. What do Black college sports figures think about athletes and their protesting as we pivot, right? I just want to go straight to the three because a lot of people. Let's start here. Let me bring it up. Because a lot of people aren't really privy. Remove the other one. Oh, okay. Let's do that. Stop sharing. Hold on. Let me add that up too. Oh, that's because I had that image up there. Sorry, y'all. I had that all worked out. Let me add this in here because I want to add what coach is saying in there so you can visualize it and not just hear me ramble on. Add will come up. 3 bullet points that the NAACP were asking. And I think a lot of people miss this. Because we were so hyper focused on the protests. And I'll speak on this after I run through them. The campaign calls to action black athletes to make 3 considerations. 1, black athletes and recruits are asked to withhold commitments from targeted programs, to ask coaches and athletic directors about the university's positions on voting rights, and to visit and seriously consider HBCUs. Whoa. See, we missed that part. Right? We missed that part. All we heard was boycott. Consider HBCUs. Cool. But this was a 3-pronged approach. I personally have issues with this whole asking athletes to, forego going to specific institutions that they have opportunities to change their lives at. I think that we can target this a lot smarter, a lot more intelligent, and embody more people. Now, 2 and 3 seems a little bit more plausible. Current college athletes are asked to use their platforms to elevate the issue, to ask institutional leadership for public statements, positions, opinions opposing racial vote dilution, and to consider all available options under the transfer portal. Okay, that's cool. And 3, fans, and I really like this third one. Fans, alumni, donors, consumers are asked to stop purchasing tickets, merchandise, and licensed apparel from targeted programs and to redirect their spending to HBCUs. Love it. That's action oriented right there. These athletic programs, scholarship funds, NIL collective, bands, and alumni foundations. So they named some actual institutions within HBCUs to support. I'm all for that. Spend your dollar with HBCUs. You want to give to the HBCUs, give to the athletic programs. Stop buying merch and materials for these institutions that don't love you or show you no support. Spend money with your people. So donate to athletic programs, scholarships, NIL collective, bands, and alumni foundations. Number 3 actually should have been the encapsulation of the actual movement, in my opinion. I think, oftentimes you make this too confusing. You got these 3 very verbose positions about how you want to attack this as an NAACP, but it's a term we call KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You got to make it simple and concise so you can get buy-in from people. You're asking them to do too many things. It's a la carte. It's a buffet. So people can always be non-committal when they cherry pick. And that's what happened. You came out with these 3, very detailed, but I would say ambiguous positions. And then what people did was run with what they wanted to run with. And what became the headlines of this? Well, boycott. You're asking athletes to boycott. You couldn't make it simple, so people made it simple for themselves. And that's the tragedy of the NAACP. And this is why I made the statement about we have antiquated ways in which we go about problem solving. It's not really that difficult. It's very simple. Be action oriented, be simple, be concise and specific about what you're asking people to do. This involves more people, fans, alumni, donors, and consumers. This is who we should have been targeting, not athletes, in my opinion. Now, let the athletes do whatever they want to do. Do what you do, but we're not making you be the premise behind what we're trying to actually achieve here. So I think it was a huge oversight by the NAACP. I wonder who consulted with them on developing this. Bad form and actually bad activation. So a call for political change and limits. Here comes our coach, Coach Tremaine Jackson at Prairie View. At Prairie View A&M football coach Tremaine Jackson said the idea athletes using their influence to drive change is welcome, but expecting widespread buy-in without structural investment is unlikely to result in a sustained movement. Facts, as the kids say. I was talking about this earlier, right? What is the axe? Where are all roads leading? Cool, you're telling them don't go here, go there, but what's the status of the there that you're sending them to? And is there properly prepared to have intake? Right? So we got to invest in our HBCUs outside of these kind of very superfluous positions that we have. It sounds good on a bumper sticker, but in actuality, a lot of people aren't even prepared for it. And that goes into his second statement, right? I think it's good that we teach our young people the influence and the power that their decisions have, but don't ask these kids to make this kind of sacrifice if you're not willing to invest in the places you're asking them to go. Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. Look, you can't tell them not to go play in Miami Stadium in the Orange Bowl and then come to Veterans Stadium and it's falling apart. I'm going to keep it a buck. You can't tell them to forego playing at a major FCS stadium and then they got to go to Bragg and it's falling apart. You got exposed pipes and asbestos. You can't even wash your hands without getting asbestos on them. You can't ask them not to go to a FCS stadium and they got to go to Mumford. Right? We got to have these things fixed on the HBCU level if we're going to ask the kids, and sometimes I don't like calling them kids, young adults. We got to have the other side fixed up. That's just the fact. High Tech says we shouldn't be asking young athletes to fight for political change. In addition, I can think of anything the NAACP has done recently for Black Americans. You know, that's been a sentiment that a lot of people have been making. Where have you been, HBCUs, or I'm sorry, where have you been, NAACP? You've been missing in action. Now you want to step in the forefront and speak on Black issues when, you know, where some people actually see you're part of the problem. Right? And part of the problem is funding in HBCUs. And it goes further in this article. I'm not going to read all the article for you, right? But a report by Insider HBCU, Insider Higher Ed, using federal data on state spending from 1987 to 2020, found that 16 of the country's 19 historically Black land-grant universities were underfunded by $13 billion. That's with a B. Jackson, who is in his second season at Prairie View A&M University after leading the Panthers to a SWAC championship in 2025, pointed to the widening financial gap between Power 4 schools and HBCUs, particularly in the era of the NIL. We know this. This money. Are we asking corporate, Black men to forgo jobs in corporate America that they've worked hard to attain and achieve to make a political statement against corporate entities that might place our Black community at harm? Are we telling them to walk off your job and protest your job? Again, I think that it's a missed opportunity by the NAACP. It was in some aspects aspirational by actually bringing HBCUs. I don't particularly have a problem with bringing HBCUs into the actual conversation because that amplifies HBCUs. I particularly don't have a problem with that. But how you use HBCUs in your argument, I think, is more the issue for me. I don't want to go deep into this article, but to stay, Coach was spot on. He was spot on this one. He goes on to say, how at LSU, you're asking a kid not to go to LSU for $275,000, but you got a cell phone bill that you pay. He loves it to use that analogy. I just threw that in there. That's not in the article, but something he would say. Right. And then lastly, and we'll end it here, right? A lot of kids we recruit aren't even registered to vote. If it's not in front of them in their everyday lives, they're not focused on gerrymandering and legislation. They're focused on their immediate future. And that is very true. I can always remember one of the, major advices that my father gave me going into college was, your job is to go to school. That's first and foremost your most important responsibility. That's your job. Your job is to go to school. I used to beg to work. I want to work a job. I want to get an apartment off campus. I want to get thrust into adult life. Probably one of the best advice among a lot of advice I've gotten, but one that still resonates with me. No. You don't need to work. You don't need to tie yourself down with bills. You don't need to tie yourself down with debt. You're about to get it in about a 4 or 5 year time span. What you need to do is focus on school and focus on the task at hand. Because right now, as a student, that's your number one responsibility. And you shouldn't have any impediments when you do it. Now, if you can take on other things, sports, athletics, clubs, fraternities, all of the things, cool. Political activism, cool. But I don't want to put that unnecessarily burden on you. And much like, my family and fatherly advice that I've gotten, I would give that same advice to any young athlete and any young man that's actually playing sports today. Focus on your sports, but also focus on your education and focus on your future. I think that's the best advice we can give this next generation. If y'all have some comments on there, the link is in the chat. I'd love to hear some of y'all I put the link to the article. The link is, I'll shortly put the link into the chat. You guys can come in and add your sauce on it and tell me what y'all think. I got a lot of pushback on the other show that I was on. I'm here for the pushback, to be honest with you. Iron sharpens iron. So I'm not looking for sycophants. You don't have to necessarily agree with me, but I'd love to hear, some of y'all positions on this. The link is in the chat. Shout out to PV. It's always love. It's always, the very center in the core in my DNA. You cut me with a knife and purple and gold is coming out. It's oozing out. And I'll give some time for people to, if they want to come in, but I was speaking on one thing, and I'll take this minute to give myself somewhat of a slight break. But I brought up a very interesting point when I was saying we have to have, the proper facilities for these athletes. If we're gonna say they gotta come over here, we gotta have the proper facilities for them. We don't have the proper facilities, then what we talking about? So let me, and people say, I give this one institution a tough time. People say, Sed, why do you go so hard on J Stank? Why do you always go so hard on the illusion? Because I want better, right? I want better for them. I want better for us, right? And so in me adopting some of the wise counsel that I got, I thought I don't have to say it anymore. We'll let others say it. So speaking of facilities, we'll let social media dictate. We'll tell you about facilities. Let me put this in for you. Let's play this. He'll tell you about the facilities.
It is time to tear down the most historic stadium in the state of Mississippi. You might be thinking, what? Yeah, it's time to tear down Vets Memorial. Now, of course, this is contingent on Jackson State getting a new stadium, but let's excuse that for a moment. Vets Memorial is the most historic stadium in the state of Mississippi. It was where the Egg Bowl used to be played. It's where Jackson State has their home games. But this stadium really makes no sense. According to the Clarion Ledger, it loses money every single year. And outside of being a home venue for Jackson State's home games, which they only have 5 or 6 a year, what does it exactly do? Name the last time there was a concert there, a rodeo, anything. It literally sits there dead, doing nothing for pretty much the whole year. And again, it's losing the state money. Do you like when the state loses money? And here's some other issues I've talked about before. How about the code of the building is not up to standard? There are concrete elements at this stadium that are not stable. Yes, think about that when you're sitting at that stadium next time. This might not be stable. And every time they try to pass money to renovate this place, it gets denied. Look, the hospital next door could really use it for parking or maybe even a new facility to make the state healthier. Either way, time to tear down Vets Memorial. I'm not really sure what it does outside of help Jackson State play some home games. And honestly, Jackson State should just have a new stadium. I'm all for that. It is.
I mean, he said it best. He said it best. Don't take, my word for it. Don't take my word for it. It is what it is, right? What are you doing with that? And then when you do something with it. You're playing D2 schools. We can spend our time, better doing something else, right? So, I do support all of the facilities, getting better across the SWAC. I support that, right? I do support him in that, right? I think it's actually a danger. It's actually a fire code at this point. Has an inspector even been out there? There are whole parts of that actual stadium that you can't even sit in. They just put a whole vinyl banner over it with a big logo. You know what? Don't even sit here. It's like a whole hole and gap. So, I say this out of love. I don't say this out of any type of malice. I say it out of love because, much to our topic, we can't be asking players from the FBS level to come to, HBCUs, and we can't have proper facilities for them. We got to do better across the SWAC. And that's all that is. And if, nobody else is going to tell you, who better to tell you than your brother? Who better than tell you than your brother? Okay, we got somebody in here. Oh, we got J State in the building. J State. Oh, it popped out. He popped out. What happened? Oh, hold on. I'm going to see if he come back. Man, maybe he had a camera or something built like the stadium. Like I said, I'm here for it. Oh, check my DMs. Okay. How do I do that? I was waiting for Doc to come back. Ooh, let me stop sharing that. Home. Why is that not working? Man, somebody must have called Doc and told him, get off of that line. There we go. I heard the beep sound. What's up, Doc? What up? What up? What up?
What's going on? Now, I am not going to let you go by and try to get away with talking about our stadium like that. So now,
I didn't say anything. That brother said it. He said it all on the
yeah, but Blake is partial. But the thing about it is, let's call it what it is.
What is it?
State ain't gonna give us no money. The state is not gonna. The state of Mississippi is not gonna give us no money. The state of Mississippi wants to basically kill Jackson from the inside. You got to put it just like that. If we could get all the money that we can get, even when we had tried to get the money for the water, try to fix all the water issues around the city, the state took that money and divvied it out to other places other than Jackson. So what makes you think that it's time? So like, if we tear it down, what the hell are we gonna play at?
I mean, you can do like TSU rent a stadium, go play at like one of the high school stadiums or something.
No, that ain't it. How can you play in a high school stadium when the high school stadium don't even seat 10,000? So we can raise money.
Don't y'all got the 1,400?
Hold on. Let me
go ahead.
Let me answer this. We could raise money we could raise $1 million for NIL.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Do you have the money? But here's the thing: do you have the money? Do you have the people who want to give money, private donations, and you still got to go through. Even if you get money from a private donor, you still have to go through the state to try to get all whatever recommendations and stuff like that in order for you even to build a stadium. Come on now, y'all know this.
I mean, what? So you're saying you got to get like proper permission or something?
No, it's not proper. No, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Have any other y'all other than Mr. Campbell, because Mr. Campbell from North Jackson, have any of y'all ever lived in Mississippi?
No, I've never lived in that. I never lived in Mississippi. I'm from Chicago.
Okay, so if you never lived in Mississippi, if you ain't never spent a week in Mississippi, read up on Mississippi politics, and that will give you your answer.
Well, funny you said that. I was on the podcast with brother yesterday, and he proudly said Jackson has the most black politicians out of any city in America. Because you know what I did? I went and Googled it. You know what I went and did and Googled that. I went and Googled that. And you know what? That brother was right. So why are we complaining about the political process in Jackson when Jackson, Mississippi has the most black folks in political position to take advantage? And then Jackson is saying that, well, it's politics, but y'all 70% black.
It's 70% black, but the state of Mississippi wants Jackson to be white again. That's the reason why I said it's killing it. The state is trying to kill Jackson from the inside. You put in all these people in place for you to do the most damage to the city. Come on now.
I mean,
Isaiah, I am from Dallas. I was born and raised in Dallas, but I lived in Mississippi for like 5 years. My oldest daughter was born in Mississippi.
I mean, I'm not saying the state don't control the funds, Mr. Campbell, but I'm saying y'all can raise private. Y'all can raise money.
But let me break it down to you. If we even get some type of money, guess where it's going to? It's not going to no Jackson State. It's not going to Alcorn, and Show ain't going to Valley. It's going to Old Piss, Mississippi State, and University of stealing money.
But can't y'all like go raise money, like go sell socks? Didn't I see that on somewhere like y'all was selling socks or something, right? Like raising money, selling socks, right? Y'all can go sell some socks and raise the money.
Well, it would be easy for us to do that if we was in the school system like y'all. But I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna stoop that low right there, man. So I'm just telling y'all.
The system is like distribution, right? It's like rap. Y'all don't say nothing when the independent artists have like distribution deals with Universal. That's just a distribution deal. We still control our own motion. We got Section 107 in the building. Isaiah, what's up?
So what's up? Hey man, this is my kind of conversation, so let's just go ahead and get it cracking. Raise the money. What's going on, bro? What's going on? I'm not picking on you, but I'm being for real. I think at some point in time, you really have to, right, I'm not saying the NIL piece is not important and needed, right, but just being fair about it. I think also focus needs to be put on, like, we always big about doing stuff in our community. We got everything we need in our community, do it ourselves, right? I think there's definitely a route for you guys to raise a considerable amount of money towards that if that's a priority for the university,
Well,
right? I
I
just I
think
just I just don't see how,
no,
like,
I'm not
like
arguing. I think the main, like right now, the main priority for our university is one of them is housing. So
facts. That's what's for all of us, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
for
we all
everybody.
dealing with that.
That's for all of us. Like, yeah, like I think somebody said that everybody's losing housing. Students are losing housing every year. But I'm saying is what we're trying to do is we want more students to come to our school, to our university. So we got to fix the housing issue.
Right.
So then another thing we're looking at is trying to see how we can become a R1 institution.
Facts. I mean, no, that's all of us. My point is this, right? I think it's kind of counterproductive if you're gonna raise $1 million for anything, right? I think really like, I mean, that's the cost of a feasibility study for a stadium can be $1 million, right? I
Right.
just think that there's definitely other infrastructure things that can really elevate our programs, right? Before you just jump to just NIL. I think that's more of a short-term solution because guess what happens? You get that $1 million. Let's say you split it up over a 2-year period for you to, have roster management. In year 3, you're back having to raise another $1 million.
Right.
Right. Whereas if you would have said, hey, well, this is a part of a 5-year capital plan, we're just trying to raise a cool 10, 15 million. So we have enough to finance doing a stadium. Right. I just think that's a better use of your money. Like, I couldn't imagine a world at PV where the school will even be on board with us saying, hey, we're going to raise $1 million just to turn around and just give it out. Right. Whereas we need a nutrition center. Right. We need that $1 million can go so far a bunch of other ways to really elevate your program. So that's my only stance. Like I said, I'm not, as much as I love to joke with Jackson, as truly as joking, this is something that, like, I just feel like a reassessment of where that money could be better
Right.
spent is where I'm challenging it.
And the way I'm telling people is that the Mississippi government is so crooked that the way that they do their politics is so different than what we do here in Texas, right? You know what I'm saying? Like when we go and vote for a governor here in the office for what, 6 years? Like 3, 5, 6 years. Then he could go in and get reelected again for another 6 years. Like it's never ended for us. So we could say all that we want as far as trying to change the narrative as far as when it comes to political standard in the state of Mississippi, but it would never change because they want Jackson. Them white folks want Jackson, and they want to drive all the black people out of Jackson. They want to drive everybody out of Jackson so they can go back and reclaim it.
So let me pitch this to you, right? Let me just pitch this to you, right? Just as so by my day job, I'm a vice president of retail and land brokerage at a publicly traded firm, right? So I work in real estate, commercial real estate, right?
Right.
So if you're gonna raise $1 million for anything, just a free game, I would say why not start a real estate foundation, right? To go and start focusing on, like, acquiring real estate as a means to use that revenue you receive from it to bolster athletics and any other special initiatives around the university, right? Versus just saying, hey, we're going to divert all of this to just NIL. That's just another way to skin it. It's a longer term play, right? But I do think that's something that you guys should definitely consider. Just because I get it. I'm very well versed in the IHL. Is what it's called, IHL. The
IHL.
They've given y'all a bad deal, right? I know that
they give all three
HBCUs in Mississippi.
A bad deal.
So I'm very real versed. Like, us TV people, we know a little something, right? So I get the landscape is very bad, right? But that's considerable, especially in a phase of where donor fatigue is a really big thing right now.
It is.
Especially in the advent of NIL, to just say, hey, okay, we're gonna press our people to get this million, and then we're gonna turn around and in less than 24 months, it'll probably be gone. And then we'll be back at square one trying to do the same thing. Whereas something that's a little bit more long standing. Like I said, I'm not trying to take over the show, but something
No,
that's
no,
a
no.
little bit
I
long
love it,
standing
man. I love it.
could benefit you guys in a meaningful way. Like we always say about, okay, the SWAC and we want to go FBS. Let's be clear about what that looks like and where the gaps are,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's TV contract one, so revenue from TV deals. That's the
Yep.
first thing. The second thing is infrastructure. If you do you have a nutrition facility, let alone team nutritionists to craft meal plans specific to your play each individual's player's needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the latest and greatest weight technology to track and monitor, right? Okay, each position and those kind of things is where $1 million, I think it kind of closes the gap for us versus just saying, hey, here's a check and you can go turn up in the city of Jackson or in Houston. And I'm not just saying that for y'all's program. I'm just saying that across the board.
Right.
We
That's
got
just yeah. So
Brandon.
yeah,
We got Brandon in the building, and we got Lionel in the building, yo.
What up,
What's up?
Brandon?
What's up?
I
What's
know the
up? What's up?
avatar's not up, but just wanted to let y'all know that I didn't want to stop y'all from the flow. But thanks for logging in, Doc. Out of all the JSU folks, you got to be probably one of the most stand up in the podcast world, man. I don't know what happened. You didn't get the delusional bug. I don't know what happened to you. But shout out to you, man. I just wanted to give you your
I look. I am still a fan, and ain't nothing short but for fanatic. I am a Jackson State fan. I am always going to be a Cedar Hill Longhorn. F Duncanville, F DeSoto, F all of them. But anyway, I say on here we can talk whatever y'all want to talk because I want to talk about y'all little 3-game TV schedule for ESPN.
Y'all worry about the wrong thing. Worry about the wrong thing.
What's going on with that? What's going on with that?
Oh gosh!
Hey,
y'all even got the Labor Day Classic to come on ESPN too. That's something to be excited about right there for real.
It's funny. How many games y'all got on ESPN?
We got 5.
I thought it was 4.
Got 5, baby. Creme de la creme. The Tennessee State game is on HBCU Go. We got a couple of games on HBCU Go. And hey, it is what it is, man.
I thought it was 4, 5. First, let me say this. I love the way y'all pocket watching PV. I don't know why. I love the way
y'all watching.
Y'all love it. I love it.
My niece can tell me everything, anything, and everything. What's going on in Prairie View?
Let me find that. Graphic. Oh, that was a link. I gotta pull that link up because that came up late. No, I'm kind of saying the compilation. Somebody's feedback, somebody audio that from the show is playing through their microphone. That's why you gotta do headphones. I was saying the collective of y'all base. This all started with the collective of y'all base saying, well, Prairie View was gonna run SWAC TV. Then you had Mr. Campbell over there. Oh, we gonna run HBCU Go, and then Zoe was over there saying, "Oh, we gonna run ESPN." I thought it was funny and laughable at best. Little do you know. You know what? I'm gonna let Isaiah and I'm gonna let Lionel. I'm gonna let them break it down. I'm not even want to steal their thunder because they talk about this all the time, and I hate to tell you and bust your bubble. PV will be on more ESPN games than JSU. The schedule that you see is just the SWAC. It's just the HBCU versus HBCU. You haven't considered.
I mean, y'all still got y'all little non-conference game. You know, you want to play against your other A&M buddies.
They not little.
Tarleton State.
See the statement. Y'all little non-conference
Hey,
games.
y'all the big bro to Tarleton State. Tarleton State ain't even been in school for over they've been in school for over 100 years. You ain't worry about it. But anyway, I mean, I understand that. Then you got the little school that decided they want to go with the University of Texas, but they still want to call themselves Stephen F. Austin, the father of Texas. You're
forgetting the game versus East Texas A&M.
I hated living in Nacogdoches, y'all.
Oh yeah, I'm like, dude.
I went to so I tell people I took a sabbatical and went to Stephen F. Austin for 2 years. And during those 2 years, one of them years where they played football, they went 0-11. I was like, I had to be in the twilight zone. I must have been in a dream. I'm looking at myself. I was like, what the F is this?
See, this is why. What's going on, y'all?
What's up, Lionel? Break it down, man.
This is why we gotta stick to continue to carry the narrative, continue to correct incorrect information. And that's why even when I heard, you know what I'm saying, sloppy drunk on the day after Saturday, you know what I'm saying? What's the show called? Sipping on Sunday now. But even when I was listening to Mr. Campbell and Zoe, it was just like, what is Zoe even talking about? It doesn't make any sense. It's as if he, you know, and this is the thing. He's supposed to be the guy. They supposed to be the people that say, man, oh, we understand SWAC history. We know about this conference. But yet they're talking about ESPN, HBCU, Go, and SWAC TV games, and who gonna carry this network and all this stuff. Listen, in 2024, all of our games was on ESPN Family Networks, so it don't matter, right? You know what I'm saying? Like what? Like we said before a couple weeks ago. What is the conversation even about, right? It's not even that big deal. It don't even matter. But even when they said it, I said, we just need to wait, because when the information comes out, we're gonna have more games than anybody else. And what has transpired and what do we see now? Prairie View A&M has the most games on ESPN Family of Networks. Now, people want to say, oh well, your little non-conference games are because you're playing this game. Yeah, of course, because ESPN Family Networks doesn't want to see Jackson against Edward Waters. Obviously, they don't want to see Grambling play Clark Atlanta. Duh, yeah, I could have told you that. They don't want Miles versus Alabama State on ESPN too. Duh, I mean, that's pretty clear. That makes so much sense, right? So anybody would have knew that. So listen, the games you play are important. The games you play matter. The games you play out of conference matter if you want to be carried on these different networks, because the networks want games is going to bring eyeballs. That's just the reality of the situation, right? So yes, the games matter. Even when we're talking about the conference games that are on ESPN, Mississippi Valley against Alabama State isn't on ESPN last time I checked. Is a game when Southern's playing UAPB, is that on ESPN? No, of course. So even the conferences games that are on ESPN are the better games, the better matchups. I mean, that's just common sense, people. Why is that even a conversation or argument? You know what I'm saying? So The reality is, though, this is the thing, though. That's why PV Nation has to keep carrying the narrative. Because even though the information is incorrect, nobody's gonna go on none of these platforms and all these other stations and correct those incorrect statements. Even right now, there's people who's sharing that, you know, other programs have more games on ESPN, even when the data is showing the exact opposite, right? And right now, there's no other SWAC school who has. We're not talking about one game, y'all. We're talking about 2 games in a row, week 0 and week 1. Nationally televised linear games, period, point blank. First of all, how many times has that been done? I know probably has been done many times before, but when is the last time it's been done? Right? That's a big thing. That's not something to poo-poo at or something to look at as small or like, oh well, it's nothing. No, it's not nothing because I don't know when the last time week 1 and week 2 one school has been on national television 2 times in a row. Probably the last time I maybe think of maybe FAMU a few years ago, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they played like the MEAC SWAC challenge and then like OBC, right? So go ahead.
Y'all got I did not know it was an 11 a.m. matchup right there for that Labor Day Classic. Cause y'all know at 3:00 they gonna show they do show the it's the OBC. That's the reason why it's a double header for ESPN too.
Yeah, so and the other thing I want to say real quick before I jump off is about the state funds and stuff. Because again, that's something else that people always say, oh well, y'all in the system, all this other stuff. Nah, listen. Again, all this pushback, all this talk about people saying, "Oh, these amount of fans, you ain't got enough people to support." Now it's crazy because right now, Sed is talking about this, and people want to say, "Oh, well, it's all of us and all stuff." Yeah, it is, right? But it's not all of us when we having conversation about what we trying to build and what we trying to grow and what we trying to do at PV, right? It's just pointing fingers, talking down, etc. It's not everybody at that time. So now when he's pointing out something about another program in the conference that this program has the largest amount of fans at games we talking about week in and week out. We talking about multiple years, year upon year upon year. Y'all have led in FCS attendance, but yet when we're talking about raising funds, raising capital to get your own stadium, well now it's like, oh well, this is a different conversation. Now why I got to be a different conversation, right? Because when we're talking about the things that PV are doing or that we're seeking to build on, right? It ain't that same type of conversation, right? So no, we can push and we can say, well, no, because listen, the reality is we had to raise funds in order to get a stadium. That's what we had to do. Texas A&M didn't come in and save us from anything. The system didn't come in and give us $61 million to build a stadium. That did not happen, right? The only thing they did was help to structure it. But guess what? That's the same thing they do with all the other different programs in their system, right? To help them structure the funding so that it works, so that they can build their stadium or build whatever facility they have to build. But the reality is we had to raise funds through our alumni, through setting up the foundation, and through student fees, right? That's what we did. But guess what? In the SWAC, nobody gives Prairie View credit for going and do that with our 12 fans, though. Who gives us credit for that? Everybody continues to say over and over. Hold on, let me finish. Everybody says over and over again, oh, we're not in a system. Oh, Texas A&M. Oh, Big Daddy Texas A&M. Our Texas State. Our Texas State. All this other stuff, right? Which is not true, which is just complete lies and unfactual information. But yet again, when I'm listening to all these other people and all these other programs, I don't hear people correcting these thoughts and statements, right? I don't hear people coming and saying, oh, that's not factual, that's not true. So again, when Sed now wants to push back on Jackson right now in this moment, because we can push on other schools too at different times, obviously, right? But right now we're talking about Jackson and their stadium. I don't want to hear y'all talk like that, because again, the same net I keep hearing out there is Texas A&M came and saved us, when it's literally a lie and not true. But I don't hear nobody out here outside of Prairie View people, obviously, that's saying, man, that's not even factual. Prairie View with their 12 fans, right, raise funds to build their own stadium on their own campus. And if a program that has the most people every single week, week in and week out, for the last, 2 decades, is not doing that, they need to be pushed back on that, and they need to figure out how to go get the funds so they can do the same thing. Because if PV can do it, then Jackson can do it as well. I don't want to hear the excuse about the system and about all this other stuff. The system ain't giving us all our money. Every single school in black school in America ain't receiving all the funds that they supposed to have, right? But schools are still figuring out how to navigate and move even in the midst of that, are they not? Right? So I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me help you out, Doc. So this is Isaiah, right? Go to the PVAMU archives and look for the donor reports. And you can go back as many years as you would like, and you can go and see exactly what we did in order to raise the money necessary to do it. This is why, and I got to give them their credit. This is why I give Southern the credit that's due to them, because at the end of the day, they control their own system. So everything they do, by far and large, is up to them to go and do it. Those folks have their own stadium. They've expanded their stadium, and they're getting ready to do it again, right? They have it as a part of their campus master plan. I'm sorry, they're your Baton Rouge counterpart, right? There's no, I think there's a point to where you have to say, okay, what are our priorities? And if it's NIL, it's NIL, right? But you have to accept what comes with that. But if it's, hey, we want better infrastructure, it's okay. Put it like this: if you have a business, you want to go raise capital, the first thing investors are typically going to say is, "What is your skin in the game? What have you put up towards this thing that you want me to help support you do?" Right? So that's
Right.
that's what I think we're saying is, hey, you know what? What is your skin in the game? Have you guys been saving aside to do a new stadium versus just saying, hey, we want a stadium? There's a lot of people that want a stadium.
Right. It's a lot of people that want a stadium. I think, like you said, yeah, I remember the day that they did break ground, and they, and I watched the whole thing and how y'all got the money with private donation with $61 million, and that's cool. And it's good that you got a stadium that can rival even, like you said, that can rival even some high school stadiums around the country, especially in the state of Texas. We all know about that. You know what I'm saying? You go to a city and they probably got a new stadium built up, done put $70-80 million into it, from a bond or something like that. But at the same time, I think some of the money we did get from the state, we did get money from the state now to where we can actually go and kind of fix things as far as with the stadium for right now. And we really, what it is that when you think about it, Veterans Stadium sits across the street from the University of Mississippi Medical Center. The medical center wants that land right there. But until they can get that land, we asking for a price. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is, if you want to give us $100 million for the land, right? Cut the check. We'll take that money and we'll go find we'll go find a spot to build a stadium. Give us 2 years, we'll be out your way, and you can do whatever you want to do with that land. But I always said, my whole thing is, I'd rather have a renovated stadium that's up to par, that's up to code, and not even worry about a new stadium. New stadium, you can get all this and you can add the amenities and stuff to it. It comes out more than what your price, what your original price tag is. I'd rather for you to renovate it.
So why don't y'all do that? Why don't y'all do that, Doc? Y'all still got like a hole in the whole bleachers on like the left side over there.
No, it's not a hole. It's not a hole. I don't know why it's not a hole right now.
What is it, like broken benches or something? Or is something wrong with them bleachers?
It's not because of the bleachers, it's because of the lighting. That's the reason why we covered it. But other than that, I'm like this. I would rather, if you want to keep the integrity of the stadium, fix the stadium, I would say, do like what USC did. If you could raise money, private funds, whatever, or whoever, I got to go on a date with Mackenzie Scott to get some of that money right there. I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? I get suited and booted for at least one day. But
you got to be organized to get that money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be.
And shout out to y'all new president, right? So y'all finally kind of working to clean that up. But you can't have a lot of issues in administration and a lot of funny business with money and a lot of weird things going on, and then be wanting endowment from outside investors. So I
don't think it was. I think with our issue, it wasn't being funny with the money, because I don't think we were never funny with our money. We all, you want to know where all your money going to. You got, you call for an audit. You
They
call for a
said,
step up.
we're gonna run through the exercise. I just text you the old capital campaign booklet.
Okay.
And you can pull it up, and I also sent you a screenshot so we can all review it, and we can go ahead and put this to bed right here and right now.
Let's do it.
A lot of schools haven't had a consistent president. Yeah, I mean, with us, I'm gonna put it just like this: keep your hands to yourself. That's all I gotta tell you. If you gonna be in the job, keep your hands to yourself. And I think the reason, I like Dr. Gregory, who's an alum. Her husband is an alum. Is a Jackson State Hall of Famer in football. She loves the school, and I think she's gonna be a good leader for us. For however long she wants to be in that position. Like I said, right now we worried about housing, and we getting the stuff done to make sure that we have housing on deck and we get more students to come in. Going, like I said, trying to work around trying to get to our R1 status, because I know Prairie View's in the same boat, in the same position that we are in. I know, as far as trying to get an R1 status. That's something that we looking at. And look, we just gonna, we just gonna roll with it. We Jackson State.
It's cool, man. We we get it. It's all good. I just we were concerned, and I saw the video from the brother, and I thought he was making some valid points.
I mean, he made some valid points to me, and I understand where it's coming from. He made some valid points because growing up in the city, go down to South Dallas, go to the Cotton Bowl. It only opens twice a year.
It's so my family's had booths in the state fair for over 40 years. It's about 4 weeks, 5 weeks out of the year in the fall. And
It's only
I'm
2 times that stadium open.
listen, I know Williams Chicken. I know where Two Partners is at.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
I know what MLK, I know what X Line is, I know where St. Philip's at. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Sid, did you get it? Did you get the link?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, yeah.
I got it. I got a bunch of it's uploading now. 527.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been very curious about Prairie View's dealing. So let's just go ahead and I don't think we've ever actually pulled this up, so it should be pretty fun. As soon as you can get it.
Yeah, I got it. Hold on. What kind of file is this? It says CL.
It's an old file, man. If you can't do the file, you can just get the screenshot from that I sent you, and then pull it up.
I'm gonna export it. Export it as a JPEG. It's coming. Cabinet member D. Okay, save.
But let me say this about Prairie View being on that 4-letter network. It's about damn time that y'all get y'all recognition on everything that I love. It's about time that y'all get y'all recognition. Everybody's gonna bring up the fact about 80 game losing streak and stuff like that. That's years of infamy. But at the end of the day, with y'all being slated for all those games and stuff like that, that's gonna put. I mean, that's putting y'all on the map.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've had. I think Lionel mentioned it before. We've had full seasons with being on ESPN, so that that's not really as much of a big deal as what we're actually going to do when it comes to what's being seen on the actual video. That's the greater conversation, if you want to be honest. Damn.
When will we start playing each other again next season?
Is that it?
We come back on the schedule next season.
What'd you say?
No,
I'm trying.
Mr. Green. I was looking at Mr. Greenwood's question. He said when we start playing again, each other again. I said next season.
Oh, that starts back next season.
Yeah, we've been off y'all schedule since what 2019.
I'm trying to say this file. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I think we supposed to came back in 2020, but because of COVID.
Oh, so y'all gonna finally stop ducking the fade? Y'all gonna finally stop ducking?
I told you you ain't ducking no fade. You got to blame Grambling on that. They messed the whole thing up when they didn't want to come to Jackson.
I think that's probably going to be the most highly touted games, a PV versus JSU, because I don't know, Doc. You know, while it's downloading, I really don't know what y'all gonna do with returning to the SWAC. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if that's in y'all cards this year.
You try to say we gonna have a downfall.
This season, yeah.
Nah. Nah. We will see each other again in December.
Finally got it.
We'll see each other again in December in Jackson again.
There you go, Isaiah. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I got it pulled up. Man, that was just me filibustering. Look, I hope it would be nothing better. And a lot of, I'll be honest with you, Doc, a lot of people who have been going back and forth over this, it would be nothing better for us to play y'all again and to beat y'all again. Because I know a loss to Prairie View is demoralizing to any program. Ask Southern, ask FAMU. So it will be nothing better for me than to put y'all in the dirt. Because if y'all don't make it, y'all will always have if we would have beat Alabama State, we would have beat y'all. We would have beat y'all. Y'all had the excuse. So, catching the fade directly and losing to us directly is nothing you can say. Just like we went into, y'all house last year and beat y'all. So I want to play y'all. But go ahead. I got the graphic up.
I do too. So real quick, y'all. So we everybody asks us about this stadium and with A&M money and da 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 da. Let's go ahead and clear the facts right here, right? In 2002, Prairie View A&M University began its first ever comprehensive capital campaign, a 5-year, $30 million campaign called Extend the View, right? Through a 6-year period, because in November of 2007, the Board of Trustees decided to extend the capital campaign to end in 2008 versus 2007. If you look at the graphic on the screen, and I don't know if Sid, you can zoom in, what does that say there? A campaign total, $32,584,128, right? Other dollars came from 2.3 million. It was 2.3 million came from other. All right. It was a university match of 8.1 million, and gifts by donors was a resounding $22,157,118. This was from 2002 through 2008. Now I have the full, you can go to Google, just type in PVAMU capital campaign and pull the entire file, and you can see every donors and company and corporation and holding company and LLC who donated to our capital campaign to do this. Right. So for all I'm saying is this, guys, for us to have 12 fans, right, even though we all know that's not true, not much support, even though that's not true, right? It's not like we have a weekly captive audience of 30 to 40 to 60,000 people. We're talking about, I think we had a little over 1,000 season ticket holders last year. I think that shows really our care and intent about where our ambitions lie. And so what we are saying is, right, versus raising $1 million for just NIL. Maybe this is something that you guys can prioritize to do something similar in an effort to replace the vet. I hear that you guys want to say, hey, we have ambitions of $100 million stadium. That's great, right? But all in all, I guess waiting for that day to come versus putting some things into action, I guess it's a matter of approach. So I just wanted to show that, and kind of explain that so we can go ahead and kill this myth that a stadium was given to Prairie View. I'm gonna read that number again, So that way y'all don't miss it. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull it back up here. That way you guys don't miss it. Gifts by donors, $22,157,118. And the total campaign total we raised for a $30 million capital campaign was $32,584,128. And that's on 1876.
I think the stadium cost y'all $61 million.
Correct. So we financed the other 30 million or so, right? And the foundation makes stadium payments.
Okay. Hey, that's the best, for y'all to just to do that, because I know a lot of y'all fans was tired of being it. I mean, even though it was a relic, I know people was tired of looking at how Blackshear Field was before y'all rebuilt the whole, built the whole new stadium on top of it.
You trying to find an excuse?
I think it could be done, but when you think about it, I think it can be done though. It can be done.
Oh my God.
Somebody got to, but the thing is, you got to have somebody in place that is very with numbers. They're very good with numbers and savvy with them too. Savvy with numbers.
Hold on, I'm gonna zoom it. Zoom it in for you, Isaiah, because they might not be able to see it. So I cropped it in two places so it could go up horizontal for them. Boom. That don't get no. There you go.
I mean, I really wish you could show the whole report so you can see, because this is not funny money. I mean, this is not monopoly money. It's not COVID dollars. It's not PPP loan, right? This is hard earned, Black American dollars here we're talking about, right? So I think to say that it's impossible to do, I think we're a living testimony. That's not the case. I would venture to say Alabama State is also in that boat. Southern University, North Carolina A&T. I mean, I just, like I said, I think it's a matter of priority and intent, quite frankly, to get some things moving.
How much of those from that donors, like that's $22 million from donors? How much was that? Like, do y'all have a breakdown as far as how much is it from private donation?
Most of it came from alumni and friends and families of alumni. Right. We had a few corporate donors in there, but if you look at the donor log, those are individual names of people, families, etc. I mean, yes, it took 6 years to accomplish, but right, they had been playing long before that. To focus on while we were getting our tails whooped in the 0-80 losing streak, playing with no scholarships. So,
hey, Sed.
I think
go ahead, Lionel.
Real quick.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, real quick. Again, right? There are 3 specific areas that the funds came from for the stadium, right? Because again, I see people making statements. One, that nobody has said. Nobody has said that all the funds came from alum to pay for the stadium. Not one person on the platform has made that statement. So this again, they're talking about erroneous narratives, right? A portion of the funding, right, of the $30 million, all of $30 million did not go toward the stadium. A portion of the $30 million, I believe it was $10 million, went toward the stadium. 2/3 of the stadium is paid by student fees. That's what those guaranteed debt pay down came from student fees, and the other portion of the funds to pay for the stadium is coming from the stadium itself. The money, whether it's ticket sales, whether it's different events and stuff that the stadium is has all the different things, right? The different revenue that the stadium generates itself. That's where the other amount comes from, right? Those 3 different revenue sources, whatever you want to call it, right? So nobody's made a claim that all the money came from alums, right? But alums, the money that the alums raised, right? That was the key contributed to the first establishment of first pushing, right, for us to move in the direction to be able to actually get the debt money, right? You know what I'm saying, to pay to build the stadium. That's the whole point, right? You had to raise the funds and put that seed capital up, like Isaiah said earlier, right? At the end of the day, you're trying to buy some property, Isaiah, right? Like somebody got to put some skin in the game, right? That's the whole point. You got to put some skin in the game. That was our skin in the game to show, like, hey, we're going to be able to pay this debt down, right? You know what I'm saying? Once we had the funds to receive the stadium. So again, it came from multiple different, right? So just like this, the high school playoff game, a high school game is going to be coming up this year, right? That's played in the stadium. The funds, the revenue generated from a game like that, right, goes again toward paying the stadium debt off, right? That's the whole point. So anyway, the only thing that Texas A&M system did was the same thing they do for any other school, right? Was help to basically structure it so that way, you know what I'm saying, it fit the laws and regulations of the state of Texas. Because again, you can't use public funds, you know what I'm saying, to build an athletic facility. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing they did. They didn't put in, they put $0 into it, right? So if you want to say, oh, well, PV went and got money from, this corporation, right? This company put some money in to build a state. Yeah, of course, they should. You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about, right? You know what I'm saying? Our alum go and service that business. We go buy products from that. They should give us money toward whatever we're trying to do with our school, whether that's with athletics or academics or anything. That's exactly what they should do. Exactly, right? You know what I'm saying? The same way we went and got alum who came back and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to put up some money. I'm going to put up tens of thousands of dollars to sponsor the Labor Day Classic. Why? Because one, other alum also support their business and they're alum of the school. Just like we're going to go to other people and ask them for money too. It don't make no difference, right? And all we're saying is another school trying to do something, they can do it the same way. And again, if a little old PV with 12 fans could do it, I don't want to hear y'all excuses. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk to me about that. Because as much as y'all talk about all the other stuff, talk about that. That's all I'm saying.
So you asked about what was the split. I found it in the Capital Campaign. Said I just texted over to you, right?
Okay.
Based on this document, and I'll read it out while you're trying to pull it up. 28% of the 32 million and some change that was raised, 28% was raised by alumni/alumni organizations. That's about $10 million, right? 23% came from supporters. Supporters being people who were PV adjacent, family members, friends who didn't go to PV. So let's add that up. 28 and 23 is 51% of that total. So if just off the bat, before you include any corporate dollars, any foundation dollars, right? 51% of that 32 million total came from alumni and friends.
Mr. Campbell, you don't pay no taxes here in Texas, except for if you got a house, you pay that property tax.
And it's the thing, right? When I've always raised funds, I don't just seek to raise funds from just the people in the organization itself. When we go do mission trips overseas, right? I don't just ask for funds for people from the church, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. What are we talking about, right? You know what I'm saying? Of course you go get funds from outside. If we only raise funds from alums, then really we left money on the table. If all 30 million was raised from alums, we probably could have got 60 then, because we left a whole bunch of money on the table. That's the whole. You go ahead.
You know what I like about? I'm gonna tell you this. There's one thing I like about what Paul Quinn does and what Dr. Sorrell's the president, Paul Quinn, what he's been doing ever since he's been, he came into office there, is that he goes out into the city of Dallas, and he goes and he's trying to broker deals with this corporation, this company, and that company, where it turns around and it helps benefit the university, the school, and also with the students, where they don't have to pay, they won't be in debt because they can work, they can work to pay for their tuition. Mm-hmm. And they leave out of Paul Quinn, you're either gonna have a little debt or you're gonna have no debt at all. So that's
y'all got the vodka. y'all can use, y'all got the vodka, then y'all selling the socks.
Hey man, come on now.
Y'all can use that money, man.
Hey, Sid, you be shady. But let me say this one point, and then I'm gonna get off here because I know we're running long. So Crook said something about the PUF funds. He called them AUF as PUF, PUF, Permanent University Funds. You are
We ain't
absolutely.
getting none of that.
Oh, hold on. You are absolutely correct. Prairie View does benefit from that. Let me explain what it is. Right, Prairie View is the second oldest public institution in the state of Texas. You have the creation of Texas, you have the creation of Texas A&M, and then you have the creation of Prairie View A&M in the same year. Right, only 3 universities had original intent to be institutes of the first class in Texas and to benefit from the oil reserves in Texas. That's Texas A&M, that's the University of Texas, and that's Prairie View A&M University. So that money is used for capital improvements that are non-athletic related. So when people come to talk about our world-renowned campus, a big part of the not only the infrastructure but the upkeep of those buildings, because you do have to have deferred maintenance,
Correct. President just talked
facilitated.
about that on the last.
Right. That is that is the biggest advantage, right? We are the only HBCU on this side of the globe or the other that benefits from oil reserves that for the foreseeable future will continue to pump out, right? Now, do we get our equitable split? Hell no. And excuse me, Lionel, I know this is a holy channel, but that's a big point of contention when you talk about us being critically underfunded there. We sued in I want to say the 90s, and that's when you started to see an even more robust output from it. But it should be split 3 ways equal. It is not split 3 ways equal, right? And that is a big point of contention. That's neither here nor there, right? I just wanted to explain. A lot of people like to reference the PUF funds, but the PUF funds don't go to anything athletically. Not even A&M or Texas can use it for that purpose. It has to be academic only. So I just wanted to explain that. Thank you for the show. I'm happy. We need to have a whole show about stadium talk anyway. Try to get Roy Perry. Roy Perry was the chairman of that capital campaign. He's still living, still kicking. Vast donor. The College of Engineering is named after him. We just need to get him on here to really break it out so our people can understand how this all came together. But thanks, Sed. Thanks, Lionel. I'll holler at y'all.
Nah, appreciate you, man, and appreciate you, Doc. We got to get you on here too, Edwin. We got to get you on here. You seem like you got a lot to say as well.
Mr. Edwin is a SU alum, and he lives here in Dallas.
No, that's what's up.
And just to be clear, right? Just to be clear, I didn't come on here to debate. I'm coming on here to correct erroneous statements, erroneous thoughts. The reason I popped on here was because of the statement about the system, right? Like, oh, we're not in this system, so we're not given the funds. I've heard that plenty of times before on all different type of platforms from all different places, right? So that's why I came on to correct that, right? And from the jump, I said that 2/3 of the funds came from student fees. So I don't know where the thought process came from that I said that all the money came from alums, because I never said that. And nobody's gonna be able to show me that I said that, because I didn't say that, right? You know what I'm saying?
You ain't gotta prove yourself, Lionel. This your home. This your platform. You ain't gotta prove nothing.
Yeah, but I'm just stating the reason I came up, right, is because I heard the statement about the system. And again, I heard it on all other platforms, right? But since it is my platform, I was like, well, we're gonna correct that here, right? So that everybody knows that's just not factual, right? TV went out and did what we needed to do to get our stadium, even with the lack of support that people always talk about, right? So again, when people talk about, because I hear this statement also too about always empower HBCUs and stuff like that. Listen, again, I listen to multiple shows, multiple platforms. If we talk about empowering, you can't. If you're looking to empower all the schools, right? Then when you hear erroneous thought processes that's stated about different programs or different schools, I'm not talking about whether the team is bad or good. That's here nor there, right? That's just opinion based, right? But when you hear people make erroneous statements about schools and about people's histories and information, and you're not correcting it, then you're not seeking to empower, right? That's not what friends do, right? You know what I'm saying? If you're a friend of Prairie View A&M University and all HBCUs, then you should be correcting that information regardless of the community that you're around or the individuals that you're among at that period of time. That's just to me, that's just the reality, right? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter, because if you're my homie, if people talking like, bro, that's not Sed, bro. Y'all just don't know Sed then. You know what I'm saying? I don't know y'all got that thought process. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna do, right? So at the end of the day, if we're not doing that, then all y'all doing is talking. You know what I'm saying? When y'all around other people, y'all switch up and y'all gonna change y'all thought process or narrative. You know what I'm saying? So, but Sed, great show, man. I appreciate you for allowing me on your show. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, please,
so I can
Lionel.
come and share my thought process.
Please get it out, Lionel. You know, you gotta understand. This is why I be so at peace. When you understand you're dealing with delusional people, you'll be a lot better at peace, man. And that's why I said that on the other day on Rocky's show. Because once you understand that true reality, you'll be running against a brick wall trying to make logic and trying to make sense in these conversations. But I think you are articulating, shout out to you, shout out to Isaiah for coming on, breaking this all down for PV fans. I know the delusional people, they still like stuck on 1+1. They haven't even got to how do we get to 2 yet. I think we were talking way over a lot of people's heads. But I think for the PV folks, we did need that breaking down. And maybe that is something we'll bring Roy on and we'll kind of talk about the fun and what are the mechanics behind it. And we'll leave the trolls to the side and we'll have like a real fundamental heart-to-heart, intellectual, logical, informed conversation and not all the like weirdo stuff. You know what I'm saying? Thank you.
I was listening to you talking about the NAACP and how the mission that they want to do. I think when it came out the first time it came out, when you read it, when you read what they were saying, I think it got, what they were trying to say kind of got mixed up. It should have been worded different, but when you, like you said, when you go and read what in a sense their manifesto is, or what they wanted to do, it makes perfect sense. Now this here, like I said, since I live in the state of, live here in the state of Texas, yes, I'm gonna send all my kids, or even my other kid, niece and nephew, and my daughter. I'm gonna let them make their choice. If they want to go to a HBCU, that's good. They want to go a different route, that's even better. But at the end of the day, I'm push for HBCU no matter what, regardless.
I think I put my finger on it. I think I figured it out, Doc. You leaving Mississippi and not being in Mississippi has like morphed your brain, and you now being in Texas has now like formulated you into being a logical person. I think I figured out. It might be something.
I'm born and raised in Texas, but
that might be it. That might be it because your DNA is Texas DNA. It is when your DNA is different.
I have a different way of thinking. I always have a different way of thinking, but at the same time, man, hey, you ain't gonna keep coming from my school. We just gonna stop it right here. We ain't gonna keep coming from my school, man.
Nah, it's all good, man. That's a good place for us to pivot. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank, even, my fellow podcasters out there, Mr. Campbell and Rocky Miller. I want to thank them for coming on. Shout out to their show, Sipping on Sundays or Getting Tipsy on Sundays or something like that they have it over there. It's a good platform and they do their thing. So shout out to them for even allowing me to come over there and get my proverbial PV stuff out. But I got something for you, Rocky, since I see you in the chat. And you can't cut that off on the stream or nothing. You can't do nothing about that because you know why?
We're never going to shy away from being confrontational.
That's right.
About what
great college football looks like. That we're never going to shy away from being confrontational about what great college football looks like. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the fan base. As I always say, stay strong, stay true, but most of all, stay productive because PV produces what? Productive people.
Do you remember when we first met? Well, I don't, but I remember how wet you get. But I won't disrespect you by dwelling on the physical aspect. Don't roll your eyes, cause we better than that shit. I'm talking about long life, being your boy's wife. A couple youngins running in the backyard. And my lord, you're still looking great, honey. And my God, you still can shake what make money. It's so vivid, can you picture it? Yeah, well tell me, do you think this ring fits? Word, your love is like the ultimate herb. You got me foot to the ass and the rest of the curb. It's like nothing to do, only for you I kneel and forget the brick. Love is the house we're building, the picket fence with the swing on the tree with the words carved in it saying love is we.
There you are, close enough to touch but still too far, because you're not mine yet. Stimulated by the conversation, mere presence. Other women ask what relation, none of the essence. Oh, who's that? She's a C, but you come first, like the A before the B. When you're gone, I wilt like a willow. Lie there and smell the scent you left on my pillow. A strong mind with the body to match. I won't bite if you promise not to scratch. You keep it real, just like the truth. Closer than twins, standing in the phone booth. Inspirational, treasured like a gift. What success without someone to share it with? I used to be a dog, now a cool cat chasing cheese. And I blame Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise on my mind. Eloise. Eloise on my mind. Eloise.
People everywhere wants to know her name. Her body is the essence and her claim to fame. She's got game, it ain't the same. She's got plenty, packing more good times that you might call a penny. Getting caught up with the thoughts of flying overseas, making all of the cheese, spending time with Eloise. I picture hitting from the back like the snare from the track. I got the knack to be the Mac lips I wanna smack. Candle wax down the spine all of the time. Prophylactic on my tool, let me take you to school. Lesson 1, you don't have to run. And lesson 2, listen to my crew. Passion increases with exchange of saliva. Keep it Fahrenheit and call me Muffdava. That be me, the K to the ING. My mode is excellent and my dream is Eloise.
A soft whisper. She asked me, do I have the guts to kiss her? But as I sit and wonder, is she real? I picture. So what comes after? Put on Anita's rapture. Her feelings I must capture. Her soft lips. I take them quick and put them in my pocket. Cause they're out of this world like Space Lee and his sprockets. Somebody pitch me quick, I think I'm dreaming. Damn, she got me fiending. Her skin is so soft. It reminds me of the smoothest piece of silk. She's so sweet, her breath smells like carnation milk.
So sweet. Carnation milk. Of all things, I'm your lady. Sweet baby. Hey, what up, boo? Words out, I'm the diva that you speak about. I hear you smitten about my well-written repertoire. You's a superstar, but it's you that I shine for. We go together like jeans, t-shirts, and sneakers. Player haters try to come between us, but never that. E is simply all of that. Rewind that. E is simply all of that. Hoes be jealous, so they fellas wanna frolic. Gems I spit can't be bought, sold or bought it. You look retarded, trying to go against the gift. Love is shared, the love is multiplied. Put your freaks aside, forget about your weak pride. Run away with me and let's do it on the wild side.